So it's been a couple of weeks. I had to order some parts and then I went on a trip. So we are getting back after it. So the thing I'm working on was figuring out how to attach a strap. So made a strap. This is a leather strap, just simple, kind of hardware, just kind of cut out of some of the pieces that I had. So regular black strap, nothing real fancy. Didn't record that one though. And then just has little hook hardware like that. So what I ended up coming up with is I have this kind of like shackle. So I'll explain that in a sec. And then I have these grommets. So well, let's continue. I have this little grommet. These are snap to fit. I've never used them before, so we'll see how that goes. And then I have the shackle. Okay, and then as you can see, it kind of goes in and out, and then it has a small flathead screw on the end. So we'll put this on here, put the holes in, run the shackle, and then the clip will clip into that. We'll see how it works. Hopefully I left myself enough room. It's going to be kind of a tight fit, which will be fun. That should be a very tight fit. So we'll have to go from there. There we go. We're making a little imprint on this. Actually, need to be higher than that. There we go. So as you can see, I just took the shackle piece and then I just kind of made a small indent. A little difficult for it to show up, but it gives me a thing. This is a hole punch. We'll go from there. This one's pretty crappy, so it takes some finagling to work because it wants to slide. That's going to be difficult, but it makes a whole bunch. Less material than I would have liked, but we're doing what we can with what we got. So I'm just kind of removing some excess to make this fit. There we go. Okay. There. Then. Ah. All right, we got a hole. Okay, so that should work to hold the chain. So fingers crossed. It looks like we're in fairly well. So there we go. Some things, it's definitely a tight fit. There's not a whole lot of material on either side, on the outside and top, which could present a problem in the future. That's what you got. And if you want to know what these are, I got other luxury press fit eyelets, 4.5 millimeters. Got them from Rocky Mountain Leather Supply. You got some generally great stuff. Okay, so these are 4.5 millimeter eyelets, and I have a 4 millimeter hole punch for 3.5, I think. So just have to remove a little excess material to get it to that 4.5. It's just a plastic hammer, so it won't mar the metal. Supposedly. I haven't had that happen before. So that's what it looks like there. And then we are going to turn this out. There's that. Something I had learned that's valuable is test fit everything. Always. Because it reduces a lot of heartache. And the final stage, whenever you're trying to make that thing work and none of it fits, and then you have to disassemble, and it's not a fun time. But you test and you fit, you can kind of prevent from doing some big mistakes. They're impossible to do. All right. So that's kind of the look. Right, and I also did it on the back side just to kind of keep it from being super floppy. I think it works. So now that we've done that, we are going to line this up and get it ready for stitching. So this bag will flip, so it'll be inside out. What that means is the inside of the bag is curly on the outside. You put these two together, and then you stitch in the inside, and then you rotate the bag. So, same style bag, but it puts a stitch line kind of like that. So you can see that's that stitch line. So when you fold it inside out, the stitches come inside and then leaves you with this kind of rounded corner. Oh, you want to make sure that everything is nice, pretty lined up. Go ahead, put these little screws, right? That's going to be easy to lose. Find the other one, which is there. Put it away. I don't need that anymore. So just kind of score the outside of this leather, just where you're stitching. That'll help the glue stick. We talked about that a little bit. Okay, so found all again. It's just this little thing, shop point. They sell a scratching tool for this. I don't necessarily see the point of it. Yeah, if I was making a ton of stuff, it'd probably make it a little faster, but where I am right now, it's fine. This just helps the glue have a little bit more surface to stick to. So, as you can see, there's that, but then you can see a little bit different of a texture. Doesn't show up great, but one day maybe I'll have a nicer camera. Give it to this side. Take my edge beveler again, just kind of clean up some some things that I know will be difficult to get once it's stitched. So this inside edge, take the glue. You're only doing like 3.5, maybe 4 millimeters, just kind of where your stitching line is. If you do too much and that seeps and then you have to peel glue off, and some leathers, it really just does not show up or come off well. Okay, so I got that done. Put that there. Okay, give that a second to dry. You want it, see where it's still kind of white, right? You want that to kind of go into a clear. White there, and you can't see it, right? See, you see the kind of color sheen off of it. That's what you're looking for. That's just dry enough to be tacky and stay in place, but not so dry it won't stick to each other. It's a little bit older glue, so it's doing it pretty quick. Like a new, like brand new bottle, it'll actually take a sec. Some people use a hair dryer, make it speed up a little bit. Just line everything up. So there is a little bit of a difference in the cut of this, right? You can see the other one stick up. So whenever I stitch, whenever I do my actual first stitch, I want to come back in and trim that up, right? So it'll be a nice clean line. If I trim it up and then stitch and then if I trim it up and stitch, it may move. So just a thing to consider, just to clean it up. But I want to stitch on the side with the least amount of material. So this top side, because if I did my stitch here, it wouldn't give me enough space because this piece, right, is already kind of indented in. So I want to go with this side. That way I have the actual amount of leather that I want in the stitch line. Right, go back to this piece. So made a very faint, I don't even think it'll show up on this, very faint line, but enough that I can trace with something that's got a slightly smoother back. Right, this is kind of what that line would look like. So there you go, right? You can see the line, right? And then you would just trace that with your stitch. Does it with this kind of softer mat. It shows up enough. I'm gonna have to squint, but it's enough for me. right? And you can see like I may have added already a little too much glue because you kind of see it there. But just that'll come out with sanding and whenever I do the final trim. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and pull it off though, where we can see. Okay, so we'll move and then we'll get to stitching. So back in luxurious shop, and got the hole punch like we showed earlier, thing to punch the hole on, the mallet, and the thing that we were working on. So, okay, so there you go, got it lined up. It's on that stitching line that we just made. And see, stitches all the way through. Now I'm trying to be a little careful here because I don't want the leather to slip and slide, right? I want these to stay in the same spot. So what I can do is I'm just going to take that alligator clip and want to move it right there, right? So at least I know that those holes will stay the same, and we'll go from there. There's just a little two-pronger. Oh, that does work. Right, two-prong. So I can do the curves a little more effectively. All right, so we've got a hole punch. We've got it punched all the way down. You can kind of see the pulls or the punches, and we will move on to sewing. Hi, bud. All right, so we're going to stitching. Because I'm an idiot. This is called a stitching saddle, like S-A-D-D-L-E, right? Stitching saddle. Didn't remember what it was the last time we were back. So this is where we'll work on, measure out the thread. I'm just using black thread this time because it's a black bag. And because this takes a while, I'm actually going to listen to a podcast. So, because I don't know the whole thing of like what could be playing on in the background that YouTube will strike or not strike or anything like that, I'm just going to put an AirPod in. I recommend having something to do while you're listening. I'll listen to the Sean Ryan podcast. He's got some interesting people on there. All right, so first thing, remember you need to measure. You can either do 3 or 4. I like 4, it gives me a little bit extra length, so 4 times the length of what you're doing. If you have a cat, beware of thread. All right, so that took 25 minutes. So it takes a bit of time to saddle stitch. So I'll clip these, burn the ends, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so that's done. Burnt the end. Just going to clean up the edges, and then we will flip it around. Get the blade. This box of razors is like the worst thing to drop. Don't do that. So just cutting off some of that extra material, just making a little bit of a cleaner edge. Right, get the edge piece again. Just go ahead, shoot. So that little beveler, right? So taking that edge, just clean up, rounding off these edges. So the one I had done previously was on the short end, the one that I cut, or that I put the stitch line on. So bevels actually stayed on that side. I just had to do the side that I cut to fit. So I've got to go grab some sandpaper, and then we'll go clean up, finalize the kind of the bit here, and then polish them up. So I got 220 and 400 grit. Don't do a very high grit. I used to be really stingy about sandpaper, and then I saw something by Adam Savage, yeah, on YouTube. He was talking about crafting. He's just like, just get new sandpaper. Just showed the difference of new sandpaper versus old, and how quick it goes. So just get new sandpaper. It's not expensive. Tried that ever since, and it's made my life easier. I'm not like an absolute perfect cutter, so the sandpaper, just that little bit, just really evens everything out. Was feeling along, looking for high spots. Looks pretty good. So we're going to take Tokonol and our little burnisher, and we're going to make this edge shiny and kind of have the finished edge sealed. Now comes the really hard part, is turning this inside out. You just kind of got to get after it. So, move this stuff out of the way. keep getting after it. Okay, you can use that burnishing tool once you have it most of the way out. Burnishing tool along the edges, and you just, this takes a while. Like a tote bag, it's actually fairly easy because there's not this, there's seams along the sides that take a little bit. But something like this, it's just one seam. You just work and refine. And just keep pushing on the insides. And just slowly roll. It's a workout, for sure. Getting there. So this edge looks pretty good. That one needs a lot of work. Still needs a little bit of refinement, but that's going to be me just fussing. But there we go. That looks pretty good. And you can tell the leather distressed a little bit from the amount of working you just saw me do on it. Right? But I think, you know, over time that'll smooth out a little bit, and this will kind of get some wrinkles on it a little bit, and it'll all start to match a little better. But I am happy with that. So we'll put on the chains, and I'll take some photos so it doesn't look like this grainy nightmare. And we'll go from there. But I am happy with that. So that took, I don't know, 17 minutes or something to fold in and out. I'm convinced that whoever makes these bags, like you're doing this style with actual veg stand, your hands have to be ridiculously strong. But that's that. Right? Like that needs to be fixed a little bit, but I'll keep fiddling around with that. But let's put some hardware on. All right, there we go. I think that is a good little bag. So
that's gonna get fixed a little bit. But Black Knight bag, silver hardware, right? Really high quality leather, good materials, really good hardware, handmade by me. I think that works. Like, yeah, there are some little things that I'm going to straighten out and fix and burnish up a little bit. Yeah, we'll do that after, right before I take photos. But that hardware that I worked on, trying to figure out how that worked, that turned out really well. I am happy with that. So, there we go. Hopefully she doesn't completely hate it. But she liked this version. Well, I thought it was good size. Just needed to be black. Needed to change the hardware. Same size. Black. Hardware's changed, and she liked that. So, should be good. But yeah, this is going to be my new channel. New channel. Only channel. And I'm just going to start doing hobby stuff. So, probably the next couple of things, there's still going to be probably leatherworking for a little while. She asked for a backpack. Like, she goes to conferences from time to time, so like a nice leather conference bag. So I want to be doing research on that and kind of go from there. Other things that have happened, I completely screwed up a alligator. It was actually alligator. Bag that I was going to build like way back when. I didn't record this. I should have. Like, this has been sitting, just these pieces have been sitting in my leather bag for like a good 3 years. They weren't supposed to look like this. Remember when I said like, fit to make sure that things work, or you're going to have a screw up that you can't deal with? This was it. So I completely remade it, and I made this little like clutch that, I don't know, it's probably going to go to somebody's very nice birthday or Christmas gift, because this is like hundreds of dollars worth of gator skin. Yeah, so stuff like this of my catastrophic mistakes and how I fixed them. But I hope you liked it.